Before the moon is full, the vampire messiah will come. The devourer of light will eat the sun. You will suffer and die, along with everyone you love. The days of this abomination will soon be over. The deliverer is at hand. A mighty warrior queen. She will raise a holy army of the righteous to crush the blasphemers.
Do you have any idea who she is? The moment she doesn't need you, she'll turn on you and murder you, one by one. Suffering, death, hundreds of thousands of dead.
She will bring horror and nightmares, suffering and pain beyond endurance. She won't want simply to crush the illusion. She will want to drain it slowly of blood.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to bring you another masterpiece. Hopefully. We've talked about the first Castlevania on the channel, at least the first 2 seasons with Dracula. I might continue it, I don't know. I've seen season 3, but Dracula and Jennifer are my favorite characters, and Dracula not being there kind of hurts. I'm cool. But today we are watching its successor, Castlevania Nocturne. I have no expectations. I just hope it can keep up with the greatness of the first one. But with that being said, I have no plan for this vid. I'm gonna keep watching until I get bored. So if it's ass, I'm gonna let you know it's ass. By the way, follow the IG. So if you don't know, this takes place around 300 years after our GOAT Trevor Belmont. We see a mother and her son walking down an empty street in the middle of the night for some reason. You're just asking for trouble. There's a whole festival going on. There's gotta be another road you can take that isn't completely devoid of human life. But the mother here is a vampire hunter who believes having her son stay with his auntie is a safer option, but of course, the son doesn't want that.
I'm so sorry, my darling, but I have no choice.
She's lying to you. There's always a choice.
We're only 2 minutes in and there's already gonna be a fight. Dodge the whip, runs in with a dagger. She pulls out a sword. Couple clashes right here. Tries to land the overhead. Yo, ass off me. Another clash. Connects the roundhouse. A kick to the back too. He goes for a stab, but she weaves it, I think. I don't know. But she slashes him twice. He deflects the third. Pulls out the fire magic, showing us some diversity. She got ice powers too, the best of both worlds. And I don't know who he thought he was, diving headfirst into the ice like that. Like, she not gonna capitalize on that shit. Peep the stance, peep the confidence. This is what we practice for.
Hold on, stay right there while we charge this up.
Knock that boy on all fours, but she isn't finished. Burnt him to a crisp. Or so I thought. He simply entered his final form, which is a giant snake, dragon, butterfly thing. I don't know what that shit is. Man, bro, didn't we tell your little ass to go back to the boat? Now she gotta worry about you, which in return results in her getting bodied. Now, would she have lost either way? Probably. But you for sure made it a lot easier. So this guy proceeds to do the mistake that many villains do for some reason. He leaves the kid alive. What? He said, yeah, your mother killed someone I love, so I had to do it to her. I could kill you too, and I will. But I don't really feel like doing that right now. You know, I got a few errands to run, you know. But hey, you stay safe though. Really? Why do villains do this? Now, when he grows up, finds you, then kills your ass, I don't want to hear any complaining. You did it to yourself. So now it's been a couple years since then. He's in this rebellion group having a meeting. And if you couldn't already tell by the fit the first guy had on, vampires aren't these creatures that roam in the woods looking for easy pickings. They run shit. They're the top dogs. Your taxes go to them. Your rent goes to them. Even if you're living in a box, 1 bed, 0 bath, no kitchen, just 4 walls and a mattress, they don't care. Cough up 3 bands. They want your whole paycheck and some. And there's nothing people can do to stop them. Who's gonna take the vampires? Which is the reason this rebellion was born. To stop that. And it seems like they weren't alone. 3 vampires pulled up and we see that the boy inherited his mom's whip. And he did this dude so dirty. He made a whole entrance, jumped in the fire and everything, just to get your head immediately sliced. I know your homeboy in the bushes is shaking his head in shame right now. But he wasn't done. He threw a knife, cutting one of his thumbs off, wrapped him up, brought him in, foot on the shoulder. It doesn't matter if you kill me. It won't do you any good. The vampire messiah will come. The devourer of light will eat the sun. You will suffer and die along with I don't give a shit. Imagine going out like that. You tried making a big spectacle. Oh, the world is coming to an end. The sun will be vanquished. And the dude doesn't give a damn. Now, while that was going on, old girl took care of the third, used her bird summons and gave it to him bad. There was nothing he could do. Just a bad class setup for this matchup. So after hearing that whole vampire messiah thing, Richter and Maria head over to the abbot to propose a temporary alliance. He thinks the vampires are gathering at the chateau, which apparently is the home of the Marquis, so why would a pillar of this community invite vampires into his home, he said. Maria immediately says, bitch, he ain't no pillar. His wealth comes from the pain and suffering of every peasant within 40 miles. But ultimately, they do convince him to keep his eye out over there, you know, have his spies spy around. So they head over to Maria's house. Her mom cooks some dinner, eating swell, having a good time, enjoying each other's company. Until they hear some roar. They walk outside to 4 creatures on their front lawn. This is their first time ever encountering something like this. The only threats they knew of are the vampires dripped down in Balenciaga. This is new territory. And not gonna lie, they were getting cooked in this fight, but that's to be expected. They never fought these things before. But I have high hopes for Maria's mom. She is the same class type as Cypher, and the things that she was doing, I just hope, if not the mom, Maria could move like that. But if not Maria, maybe this new girl can fill in those shoes. She killed one, the other 3 hauled ass. 2 of them can fly while this one is simply walking. No urgency and no steps. He's taking a nice stroll through nature. So her name is Annette, and she tells them that those things are night creatures. And it's been centuries since someone made them, and they so happen to be looking for a man named Belmont, which is our guy right here, because they also know something about this vampire messiah. And for some reason, every piece of media that takes place in the 15th century, the church is always on some bullshit. They're always the bad guys. We were just trying to form an alliance with the abbot, but turns out he's in cahoots with the vampires. Big surprise. He thinks the revolution, the rebellion, is a complete abomination. It goes against the natural order, common decency, and of course, to God. So he says, you know what? I'm gonna get my big homie to come handle y'all. The big homie in question is this lady right here.
In Neptune above.
Here, dog. You acting like I bite.
She hops out the wagon saying she's a representative of the Messiah.
Oh, the Messiah. Oh, you need to go down and register with the National Convention.
No, not that Messiah. The real one. And just annihilates the 2 guards. Then we cut back to our squad when we learn that Annette was actually a former slave fighting in a revolution for freedom. And the guy to her left, the most light-skinned you ever see, got blue eyes, hair tied up in a bun with a green ribbon and a cherry on top. He wasn't a slave or anything of the sort. Nigga was an opera singer. He was serenading the masses. But anyways, Annette tells us that something is changing. For centuries, vampires have pretty much been allies with royalty, dukes, barons, kings, princes, but they've always resented it. This Messiah promised to make them masters of the world. They'll keep the kings in place, but vampires will be pulling the strings, and in order to accomplish that, they need to crush the revolution. And the name of said Messiah is Erzabet Bathory. Ma Dukes has actually encountered her before, and at what age do we deem too grown to run off crying into the distance like that? Cause not gonna lie, Ma, you passed that age limit to be eligible to do shit like that. But a few years back, Ma Dukes and her family settled in a village that was poor and cruelly treated. So they stayed for a while to help ease people's suffering. But of course, the vampires seen one too many smiles. Y'all not allowed to be happy. That village got raided by soldiers, vampires, with big homie overseen from the back. We learned that her name is Drolta. She took one look at Ma Dukes' sister and said, yeah, I need that. Captured her immediately, brought her to this castle. Moms tried saving her, but once she arrived, realized that the Messiah doesn't simply murk her victims. She tortures them for as long as she can keep them alive. And at the back of the room, oh hey look, it says here, okay, no she is not. Then the Messiah herself walks in. And what room was that behind you? Does that lead to the fucking sun? Do you just have a spotlight aimed at the door? There's never a moment where a room needs to be that bright. But before Mom's escape, she made sure to take out her sis, running east until she finally found refuge here.
Yeah, don't you worry. We're going to fucking kill her.
So Richter tells Annette about the whole vampires gathering at the chateau thing, so she says, I bet. Let's pull up, burn that shit to the ground. That's a little too much. We're just gonna scope it out. So when they get there, they immediately see the Marquis giving corpses to the night creatures, but also Annette sees the vampire who enslaved her and murked her mother. She was ready to crash out right there and then, and I'm glad she calmed down. There's like 50 vampires here staring directly into her soul. A creature let out a roar, alerting everyone in the area. See me? I would have turned around and hauled ass. I'm not giving them a chance to even think to attack. But they decided to stay and fight. Richter smacking them away with the whip. Maria calls forth her bird while she stabs one in the neck. Lightskin cuts this one head off with ease, but peep Annette tossed the whole mace at this one, threw one of her blades, almost caught a collateral. Double clash, but look at the hand return to me. Broke his back with that mace. Don't even need to hold it either, and then proceeds to chop his head in two. I got high hopes for Annette, but she wasn't even the coolest to me. Maria caught me by surprise. I didn't know she was going to be moving like this. Spawn the bird, handle my lightweight. Spawned it again, back up. Summon the turtle, protect the right side. Summon the tiger. Bird came back, rotate the shield. How'd that hand feel? Right through the skull. Hold on. Her class setup might be something crazy. When we saw her earlier, I thought she was going to be a support type, but she can hold her own. So they finally decide to run away, but at this point, it low-key looked like y'all can handle that shit. But they get to the woods, Annette conjuring a bridge to go across when unfortunately, Lightskin gets caught. 7 people trying to eat off one plate. There's not enough to go around. But the rest of them do escape though. Then they took these bodies straight to the reboot van, and not to be a dickhead or anything, but what did you do to be reincarnated as a boss monster? What? You caught one body the entire encounter. You're not boss monster material. He should have been random goon number 248. Also, this dude is back plotting something. But then we see exactly what Annette had to go through to get here. As we already know, her and her mother were slaves. One random night, a vampire owner came through. I don't know what tipped him off or if someone snitched, but he knew the mother was drawing symbols around the house. So he took her outside, saying there will be no spells casted in my shit.
No charms, no dances, no songs.
Murked her right in front of her daughter. Ever since then, she's been plotting an escape. And it really be your own people, bro. You're one of us, and you're working with them niggas. First of all, what kind of system is this? Why did they allow you to work with them in the first place? If you're going to be racist, don't half-ass it, fully commit. What? But she got grabbed because they were trying to brand her. And this is when her powers awakened. Spawned the sword, knocking the rod out of his hand, and then booked it. Put the jets on. She was outrunning canines. Made it to the city, ducked into this random orchestra where she met Lightskin, who gave her new clothes and snuck her to the mountains where other escaped slaves were mobilizing a resistance. Now, as far as her powers go, she's pretty much an earthbender. She can control metal and earth. So some time has passed. You see them locks got a little hang time now. That's the stage where you start doing normal activities with a little more aggression. Someone call your name, you turn your head a little faster now. You go to pick something up, you whip your head back, make sure everyone sees the shakeage. I'll say this is like intermediate level. You're not a novice anymore, but you're not in the big leagues yet. I mean, like, you're not up there with, you know, who got good locks? Offset, Cali, 21 pre-braids, me, Vaughn, this one girl that keep popping up on my IG. I'm Kevin, you know them. I think they really killing the game right now. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, the time to make the move was now. They ran through the city, burning everything, striking down slave owners and all their loved ones. They actually tried hunting down the one that took her mom, but he simply flown away. Bro didn't even entertain that at all. He left swiftly. Afterwards, Annette went to go speak with Cecile, who was the one that was mostly looking after her after she first arrived. But she noticed that she was tweaking, seeing visions of the vampire messiah, and said, oh fuck no, we're cooked. That's when she told Annette to go to Europe, find Richter Belmont, and defeat the messiah before she gets here. Made it sound so simple. Now back to the present. Maria wanted to introduce Annette to the other people a part of the revolution, and for some reason they decided hosting this in the middle of the town square was the best course of action. The millisecond more than 5 people showed up to this exact spot at 1 a.m. in the fucking morning, every person in the surrounding building snitched immediately. Night creatures emerged from every alleyway. Now my first thought was, y'all two go home, resign from the rebellion, never attend another meeting again. I don't know if you thought joining the cause was gonna be couples goals or some shit, cause no way y'all put your heads down.
I guess this is it.
What? Man, if y'all don't get up, it was a 2-answer question, fight or run away, and y'all somehow invented a 3rd option. Y'all chose death. Y'all are so lucky Annette saved y'all. But what she sees after. She's seen what they turned light skin into, and instead of attacking her, he actually saved her. So he's not fully gone. Then he just gets flown away. Later on, she tells the group on what she saw. Richter thinking she's seen things, but says, even so, what do you want to do about it? Rescue him? What if he doesn't want to be rescued? Or maybe he can't be. Maybe the only way to save him is to kill him. Valid point, honestly. So Annette just wants to charge into the church. She feels as if she abandoned light skin once and can't do it again. Richter immediately says, nigga, you're out of your damn mind. Right now, they're held under the assumption that the abbot is held hostage by the Forge Master, a sorcerer who can create those night creatures. They don't know yet that the abbot is the Forge Master, so charging in blindly when a powerful sorcerer could be spawn camping the entrance is kind of crazy. He wants to come up with a plan. Oh, so you're pussy. Okay, so now we're throwing shots. And Mom's really waited until the very last second to mention that, oh, by the way, there's actually a secret underground passage to get in. I just wanted to see I get angry. My bad, that's on me. So they head over there, and the streets are always devoid of human life for some reason. But meanwhile, Drolta is meeting with the abbot, aka the Forge Master.
I know it's all about sex with you priests, but believe me, you really shouldn't tempt me on that score. You wouldn't like it. Every orifice I possess has teeth.
But see, there's one medication that doesn't get much advertisement, while the side effects are really proven to be positive. That medication is called giving thanks.
Anyways, they take her downstairs for a little tour of the workshop, and Green Eyes here is plotting something. His name is Alucrd, by the way, but we don't really know what he's up to yet, because the vampire messiah requested his presence, but it doesn't seem like he's fully on their side. And he has a little chat with light skin, and pretty much he doesn't remember anything. He doesn't know who he is, what he is, he's just here. And you know what this nigga proceeds to do? He starts singing. You get more and more light-skinned by the episode. How are you in jail? Expressing how you want your freedom. Alucrd laughs dead in your face, and then you break out into song as a response. Also, how do you turn into this crazy monster and have stone bricks and metal bars be your biggest weakness? Either you're that trash or the architect needs a raise. So us hearing his singing head towards it, immediately gets attacked by night creatures though. This one caught an icicle to the back of the head. Annette gets cut off from both angles. One shoots a water beam, rolls to evade it. Maria comes through with the assist. Annette runs back to the other one. Mom's freezing the water beam, gets cut in two. They bend that corner and sees the abbot happily walking side by side with the vampires. Drolta specifically, that was the confirmation right there. Yeah, that nigga's not one of us. Lightskin still singing his heart out, by the way. Weave eats that kick to the face, spears him into the cell bars. Nigga, get the fuck off me. And as much shit I'm talking about Lightskin, I can't even lie. He's hitting them notes. So Annette and Drolta face off, dodging that knife throw, good block, ducks to slash, throws out a double kick, return to me, calls the blade back, but both gets blocked. Then simply punt kick the tiger to the other room, catches Maria's blade when Mom pulls up with the most delayed attack ever. I would have pre-fired that shit. So Annette just says, yeah, I got that, and runs off to Lightskin. And not gonna lie, Maria probably would have gotten murked here if the abbot didn't stop her. He was like, yo, relax. She's just a child, that's not a part of the deal. Meanwhile, Annette was getting ready to send Lightskin into the afterlife, but that's clearly not what he wants. Then Drolta comes from behind, good dodge out of Annette, evades the sweep kick, kicks one of her swords down, left claw weaved, roundhouse weaved, right stab weaved, knocks her back, but she enters the Viltrumite stance, and Lightskin, I owe you an apology. Those are some strong ass bars, man. I can't even lie. Must be vibranium. Drolta couldn't even break through that. Slammed her to the ground with it too. Maybe it's vampire proof or something, I don't know. Or that ceiling is the strongest thing in the universe, one of the two. Then she hits her with the floor, smacks the back of her head on the ceiling, frontal lobe on the concrete. That is a concussion if I ever seen one. Now you know you don't belong here. Gave him like 7 more than a spinning sidekick. And he starts unloading knives into this dude, saying, and I quote, "I am Richter Belmont, the last descendant of the Belmont clan." Are you serious? Why are y'all Belmonts always on the verge of extinction? First Trevor and now you. I can understand it happening one time, but it's been 300 years. The family tree just never expanded. You telling me that every generation just had 1 kid each, and that 1 kid goes on to also have just 1 kid every single time? I don't know, y'all might just like the thrill of not existing. Anyways, he decapitates that vampire, turns to the abbot, and he's sitting there like, damn. Now I'm going to assume that Abbott is Maria's dad. It wasn't stated, but all 3 of them got the exact same features. I feel like it's pretty obvious. Mom's probably never told Maria, but I feel like taking one good look at the dude, she should be like, hold on, why are we the only blondes with green eyes? We don't see much of those around here, do we, huh?
Little boy Belmont.
Right then and there, all the macho Richter had went out the window. He turned around, locked eyes, and hauled ass. Said fuck everybody he was with. Man ran to the nearest exit. The group eventually followed behind, but the dude was already out the door. Perfect form in that stance. Not a single look back to see if his friends was behind him. Had zero care of their well-being. Even when they got outside, he was nowhere to be found. Nigga is still running. Where are you going? I clicked on the next episode and he is still running. Yo bro, relax. Nobody is chasing you, I promise. Also earlier I said Annette was some version of an earthbender. Yeah, I don't know what she is, to be honest. Maria got cut in the battle, so she takes a piece of her shirt, stabs it, and then just auto stitches her arm. Like what? How does that even work? And imagine going to sleep, waking up in the middle of the night, seeing your mom just standing there staring at the window like, yo, excuse me, mother, what are you doing? She was about to go on this whole rant to how when she came down here, the people were so nice. Like, moms, I love you, but it's 4 a.m. Can we talk about this in the morning, please? But that's when they heard Annette. Y'all heard that, right? Sounded like someone either walked in or out the house. But no, Annette was just down there rattling the doorknob, so they come to see what's going on. And she was like, oh, I'm going back for light skin. You don't have to come along though. If you wanted some help, all you had to do was ask. You don't gotta strangle the doorknob, trust. But Maria and Moms was not going back. They were saying they need to at least wait for Richter, come up with a new plan. Annette was not trying to hear any of that shit. She was about to go out there dolo. They tried convincing her that going out there by yourself is genuinely a suicide mission. You're not built like that. And for some reason, they kept on mentioning Richter after every sentence. You want to go on a mission? Wait for Richter. You want to go for a walk? Wait for Richter. Oh, what was that? You haven't eaten anything in 6 days and you're on the brink of starvation while we have a 5-star buffet sitting on the dinner table? Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Dig in. Once Richter gets back, and I'm fully with Annette on this. I don't give a damn about no Richter. I just watched that man run a 4 flat in the opposite direction of us. Usain Bolt don't even got a form that good. They go on to tell her that vampire was the one who took away his mother, the one that haunted his nightmares. Man, I don't give a fuck. We all have nightmares. You see this mark on my hand? The first time a slave runs away, they're branded with this on their shoulder. The second time, their leg. Third time, killed. The people with this mark, they're the people who know how much freedom can cost. They wear it every day. So do I. And now I'm going to aggressively open this door just for a little dramatic effect.
If I'd let my past terrify me, I'd never be free of it.
Do I think what she doing right now is a little stupid? Absolutely. Even though she agreed not to go inside the building, just gonna scope it out, she says, if you run into Drolta and Alucrd at the same time, you're doomed. So she actually does run into both of them at the same time, but the whole time she's just trailing behind them. Witnessed a man give to the homeless and then immediately got eaten afterwards. And I want y'all to remember this dude right here. So they head off to the cemetery where Drolta gets the next 7 minutes of uninterrupted glazing, trying to persuade all rocks into pledging his allegiance to her messiah, which of course he's not gonna just blindly do. He said, yeah, I heard she's formidable, but I believe it when I see it. So Drolta heads off. Annette randomly hears some person yelling, and the same dude who was allowed to leave somehow got here in a cemetery. That shit makes no sense. You telling me that after witnessing a vampire murder man right in front of you, running away with your life on the line, and you didn't think, oh, I should seek out the local police department, probably my safest bet? No. Instead, he said, oh yeah, let me run into the nearest cemetery. absolutely zero logic. You almost died because of that. And you know what makes it worse? There's a fat ass gate wrapped around the entire thing. There's only one way to get in. He didn't just randomly stumble upon inside. The man willingly walked in here. He's stupid. And the vampire who was there happened to be the vampire that enslaved Annette. Not gonna lie, this segment was poorly done to me, because this vampire who was the cause of so much torment in her life just happened to be strolling through the same cemetery at the exact same time, I guess. And the way he went out was so ass. I was expecting a big battle, you know, I thought he was gonna be a mini boss of some sort, but that was not the case. Annette drops crosses around him that stops him from escaping. Shout out our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I expect nothing less. But this encounter was very anticlimactic. They yapped about nothing for the next 2 minutes, and he used the next 3 minutes to glaze his messiah. Did that until the sun came up. Her smiling though was kind of funny though, I give him that. Later on, we see the abbot come speak to Moms and Maria. He was trying to explain how what he's doing is for a good reason. This revolution is getting out of hand. Over 200 priests were murdered in another city, and it's only a matter of time until priests altogether are exiled. And he does hint that he's going to betray the vampire messiah, which is the reason he's making these night creatures in the first place. He's making an army to take her on. But what found me is that he was like, how many times does the entire course of history come down to the choice of just one man? Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King, LeBron, me.
Yo, who the fuck is this?
And Moms proceeds to say,
Oh, I wish I never met you.
but if you never met me, then we wouldn't have Maria.
What? No way. You're Maria's dad? I never would have thought of that.
And then she just walks into the abyss. Why is that area so dark? So now we finally see what Richter is up to, sitting in a tavern with no money to his name. Can't even afford a Ritz cracker with that apparently. Luckily for him, that old man in the back paid for his meal. Went to go say thank you when his vampire burst through the front doors, demanding to face off with the old man just for him to immediately get cooked. I know you're looking at that kill cam mad as hell. The man was fresh off a beer and still beat you, with ease at that. And the people just go back to drinking and dancing like nothing happened. Nothing happened, nothing happened, like nothing happened. Let's try that again. And the people just go back to drinking and dancing like nothing happened. So old man walks outside, Richter not too far behind, asked him who he was, and turns out he's his grandfather, Juiced Belmont. So like any normal person who assumed they were the last of their kind, asked him, where the fuck have you been? Oh, me? I've been here watching you. Not in a weird way though, just observing. Also, Moms knew that Juiced was here the whole time, but she agreed not to tell Richter. Whenever he gets money from killing vampires, he gives her some. Not really to keep her quiet, more so just to help out. So they head over to this hut and Richter was pissed. He said, ain't no way you're a Belmont hiding in a shack. Also, you're not supposed to kill vampires for money. Did you not read the pamphlet? Story time. Juice goes on to tell us how he used to be a hero once. Lost count on the amount of vampires he killed. The whip Richter has used to be his, but he didn't really need it. See, 300 years ago, one of their ancestors was a powerful sorceress. Some refer to her as the GOAT, the best to ever do it, the MVP. She goes by a lot of names. But Cypher is the reason Belmonts can use magic. He was the greatest magician the Belmont line has ever produced. But one day, it just vanished. His magic was no longer with him. And he feels like because of him is the reason his wife and best friend died. Because he couldn't do anything to save him. He says that evil will always win. It's everywhere. It will always be stronger. No matter how many devils you kill, there will be another to take his place.
I need a piss.
Spider's sense went off, felt someone was watching him, and he was right. There wasn't only one. 3 more ran out the woods with him. I was about to say, no way Juice is still taking a piss, but that boy got captured. Richter then gets his whip took, got no knives to throw, both arms grabbed, dropped on his knees. It wasn't looking too good. Until this dude started talking about Maria, Annette, Moms, and how they're gonna be a gift to the Messiah. Once those flashbacks started popping up, yeah, I knew what was about to happen next. he awakened his powers. One of them instantly rushed in, caught that shit, froze it up, switched to the fire, roasted him alive. Quick look over the shoulder, gotta show him he's serious. Ice on the forearms, blocking the knives, weave, roundhouse to the temple, iced up the elbow, stabbed right in the gut, blocks the low, blocks the high, slapped him real quick, switch targets, peep the elbow tap, ice the neck, blocking the knife. Yo, he is very efficient with these powers. He's barely using them really, he's just out there boxing. Palms the chest, another rotisserie, casually flips the arm, cooks the other one, and finally the mini boss, not even a mini boss no more, downgraded to a grunt. Richter didn't even move, bro just missed, pulls out the white headband. There's something you forgot about Belmont's. Stupid of me, I've forgotten it too. Block the bullet, here, hold this real quick. Try to run away, but earlier, his dumbass threw the whip right at Juice's feet. Get your ass back down here. Lobbed him straight to his death. Hold on, Richter. If you moving like this for the rest of the show, you might redeem yourself. So back down in the cells, Light Skin is forming an alliance of sorts. If he still has part of his soul, then others could still have part of theirs. And not gonna lie, Drolta be popping out every episode with a new fit, new hairstyle, new something. She be putting that shit on. But the reason she's so dressed up is because the vampire messiah has finally arrived. And of course they can't meet up without presenting her a gift. This lady got hold. Her own father pleaded for his own life rather than hers. There is absolutely nothing she could have done to escape the situation. They given her away like she's a pet bird. And the thing I have to always give Castlevania credit for is the music. When they want you to feel pure evil, hopelessness, dread, they got the perfect track every time. Like what's playing right now is subtle, but that subtleness is what makes it scary. Imagine this. Man, what? I hear that shit. I feel like I can beat your ass. Give me a sword, I'll have this handled in 30 minutes. But now... See, this is a whole different ball game. Whoever comes up to you is gonna talk to you for 5 minutes straight.
Explain to you how the world needs fixing, and before erasing you from existence, they're gonna say you were somehow, some way destined to die by their hand, and how your death is the foundation of what's to come. Like, bro, what?
Anyways, she has made it to town, basking in the glaze. She's loving this. And Drolta peeped you talking to Maria. Now she knows y'all are connected more than just a don't murk the kid thing. Later on, they're having this party, and now I'm truly confused. Maybe Erzabet is just one of us. I thought she killed that girl, but she actually did the complete opposite. She dressed her up, danced with her. I mean, she's still slowly draining her, I think, but maybe Erzabet just like fine shit. I respect that, because if I was a vampire, I promise you I'm not biting on no nigga. But during this parties, when Drolta tells Erzabet that the way they can secure the abbot's loyalty is by his daughter. And speaking of her, she still seems to be a little upset that her father was kept a secret from her. This whole time she thought her father was dead. But as Moms was walking back, she gets attacked, and not gonna lie, I wasn't worried. Y'all are the no-name grunts, the background vampires. You gotta send someone with status next time. Maria heard the commotion, spawned her bird, took flight, and look at this one hitting straight log, straight tree bark, caught an icicle to the neck. Back to Maria handling a 1v2, and usually summoners in anime are the lamest characters, but Maria is not one of them. You just gotta be swaggy with it, throwing in a few unnecessary flips, and I promise you look cool. One of them though were playing dead in the water, almost sniping Moms, but Richter finally made his way back. Had to show off his magic real quick too. And honestly, my gripe with Nocturne is that things feel like it's moving a little too fast. Just how earlier when Annette murked that one vampire, Richter makes it to the house, and I guess Annette was fake mad the whole time. She was talking about some fuck Richter, he's scary, he a pussy, he this, he that. Turns out they both trying to fuck.
Wow.
It's like when he ran away, you was pissed and you made it very clear. When you got out the cells, you was mad. When they tried to stop you from leaving, you said, no, I'm not mad, I'm furious. Okay, Moms asked you to forgive him because Alucrd was the one who murked his mother. He was face to face with his nightmare, and you responded to that by pretty much saying, I don't give a fuck about what you got going on. We all go through shit. He pussy. And gave a whole speech to back up your point. And I didn't mention it, but before Richter had that big fight, she summoned her ancestral plane or something like that, and even while in there said, nah, Celine, you was wrong. And I quote, that Belmont boy was useless as fuck.
The Belmont boy turned out to be useless as fuck.
Damn.
But now that he's back, you don't stand on anything you said, or you just don't care about everything you said. And I swear y'all met a few days ago. So all rocks goes to me, Erzabet.
Behold,
The one before whom evil trembles.
Yes, glaze this, glaze that. Drolta tells him to bow, he just kept walking. She shows off her power, everyone bows. I thought I told you to bow. Bro, shut the Gave a little pity nod, he was getting annoyed. Now, I don't know what she's wielding in that hand of hers, but it doesn't look fair. They tell Aurochs that once Europe is conquered, he will be her guide into America.
I told you to bow.
Not gonna lie, I'm kinda rocking with Aurochs. He only bowed to keep up appearances when in reality, pure hatred in his heart. So afterwards, they call the abbot over here and of course they pull the daughter card. They said, you wanna prove your loyalty? Good. Sacrifice your daughter. Knowing him, he's gonna do just that. Thinks it's for the greater good. But once again, speaking of his daughter, right now they're making up a plan of attack with the goal of saving Light Skin as well as finding a way to stop the creation of night creatures. Maria, being the kind soul that she is, you know, being a good daughter, asked what's gonna happen to the abbot, her father. Oh, he made his choice. He's gonna die alongside them. When all of a sudden, Aurochs drops that fat ass novel on the table, the three of them run outside. Splitting up was pretty stupid, not gonna lie, but Aurochs wasn't here to fight. Even though Richter wanted that fight so bad, you could have died 3 times already, buddy. Calm down. You just swinging that shit around and hoping to hit something. Aurochs tells him, yeah, I know we not friends, but either you trust me or Erzabet takes over the world. I think the choice is pretty obvious. I killed your mom for revenge. Erzabet gonna murk all 3 of your loved ones for shits and giggles. We not the same. Just read the book. And then he just leaves. So they read the book and find out he was telling the truth. The night creatures are made from a machine. With a little deciphering, they can figure out how to destroy it. Later on in the night, Maria actually sneaks out somehow. We already know how loud them doorknobs are. But she heads over to her father to warn him, not wanting him to die, urging him to leave and come with her, but he's dead as a lost cause. I was thinking maybe the evil church role would die here. Maria actually wanted you to be a father in her life, but now he turns his head, sees her. Had his gremlins grab her. I'm so glad this dude was watching because the second he got a chance, he ran straight to the house, told him exactly what's going on. Meanwhile, Erzabet, I still don't know what exactly her power is, but that junk is broken. When they called her the Devourer of Light, they were dead ass. I thought they were just blindly glazing. She for real blocked the sunlight, made her own eclipse. Even Aurochs knew that was some cheating shit. All the vampires flew out. Drolta transformed into whatever that is, also flying out. Richter's still wearing that headband. Please remove that off your character, bro. That junk is not clean. Erzabet also transforms. Now that I'm really looking at her, she's like 8 feet tall. Does becoming a vampire make you grow an extra 4 feet? She was a human before this, but at the same time, I guess that makes sense. Imagine a 4'2" vampire claiming to be the devourer of suns. Man, get out my face before I smack you. So we made it to the church, and ever since Richter got those powers, he don't even be wanting to use the whip no more. Look, he put it back on his hip, block that junk, deflects the next 2 attacks, weave, the bug jumps over his head just to get an imprint of his fist to the face, switch to the fire this time, already under the sword, right to the gut, left hook slip, double to the gut, overhand, bitch, caught it on fire, pulls out the whip, helping Moms real quick so she can rescue Maria. Annette goes down to find the night creature machine because you can't actually destroy it. The best thing you can do is open the portal from which it came from and push it back through. Gotta play a little protect the flag so Moms can open the portal. That's when Drolta pulls up. Block. Drolta dodges the punch, responds with a roundhouse, gets blocked so she goes for a sweep. Good hop out of Richter, goes for a kick of his own, no connect. Looks like she went for a side chop there. I don't know, but it gets blocked. Richter on the other hand elbows the back and lands a clean one to the gut. She responds, landing a kick to the jaw, I think. I can tell this was not meant to be slowed down. Cameraman switched the angle, front kick blocked, grabs the leg, dug that elbow straight into the thigh. How that gut feeling? Quite good actually. She ate that shit. Gave him the same treatment, and I don't know what happened here that got her so confused, but she started eating straight haymakers. Every single one of left hooks. Put your hand up. Throws out a triple kick, not a single connects. Double block, checks the kick, barely dodges the roundhouse. Cameraman. Richter starts throwing out some fire kicks, got this straight from Azula. Only difference is Azula wouldn't have airballed every single one. Runs back in though. iced out the kneecap too, extra damage. She does end up breaking his guard though, but that was Maria's cue. Summon an army of birds, and I don't know why you getting so close. Use the foot this time, hold his turtle, lob the tiger off his back, knocked it through every bench in the room. While all this was going on, All Rocks was lurking in the shadows. Finally decided to get involved, taking out some of the grunts before going for Drolta. Guess that confused her enough to stop paying attention to Richter. Cut to Annette real quick, who wanted to break Lightskin out, but he deadass said, nah, my work here isn't done yet. At this point, he does remember who he was, but he feels as if his singing is allowing other night creatures to remember who they once were. And honestly, I'm not mad at that, because what do you expect him to do? Go back home, wake up in the morning, eat breakfast with the family as if he's not a 7'9" demon? Normal life is over with. Nothing Annette can do but say, damn. So she heads over to the machine, portal already open in the back. The only thing she needs to do is push it. But that would be too easy. Back on the top floor, Richter is actually giving Drolta belt, and right before he was gonna land a decisive blow, he felt that spiritual pressure. The whole room felt it. Erzabet has entered the fray. No matter what was thrown at her, it couldn't even leave a scratch. Also caused Mom to get knocked out the portal opening trance. Woke up and saw Wemby walking down her daughter. Proceeds to consume Richter's flames point blank. This normal, regular, mortal man with a sword and a dream tried running her down. He's lucky All Rock swooped in, took him to the other side of the village. Now, I didn't mention it earlier, but these two have a little thing going on, so yeah, so back to the church, Mom was like, come on, Emmanuel, use his whole government. You can't let her kill our daughter. Turn your night creatures against her. Fight her. Together we can defeat her. No, we can't. At least say something believable like, together we can maybe possibly run away. That makes more sense. But Erzabet goes and say, kill? I don't want to kill your daughter. The fuck does sacrifice mean then? I just want to turn someone you love into a vampire. Come on, man, you should know this. And of course, Moms wasn't going to allow her daughter to get sacrificed. She offered up herself, and Erzabet agreed, as long as it was someone the abbot loved. We've gained absolutely nothing from this mission. Lightskin didn't want to be saved. We couldn't get rid of the night creature machine. Couldn't even take out Drolta, and the worst of them all, we lost Ma Dukes. And even after they escaped, they were still getting chased, by the way. They don't care who was offered up, whether it was Maria or Moms, it don't matter. They want the entire group gone. But we have a special appearance. The GOAT has returned. Alucard took out Drolta in one hit.
I am Alucard, son of Dracula. And if you fight me, you will die. I hope I'm not too late.
And now we see where he was before this. He went to this Egyptian place, I believe, and every single one of them was given a choice. Hey, you either get out of the way or die, and these niggas chose to perish. He wasn't even in the cloak anymore. He was only wearing it to preserve his actual fit. And he's doing all this with one hand behind his back. Elbow to the neck, dodges the spear, cuts it in half. Then finished off your friend in the same breath. That's when the leader comes through, the only one wearing different clothes, and frankly got done the worst way. He deems you unworthy of movement. Let his sword do all the work. And what he found inside were vases filled with blood, and whoever y'all are gotta be the worst security ever. He could have took whatever he wanted and been 20 miles east by the time y'all came down here. They fared a little better though, was able to knock the sword out of his hands, but we all know he did that on purpose. He just wanted to show us his new daggers. And him being able to disperse into bats while also being able to control his sword is kind of unfair, not gonna lie. The second one jumps in, gets both arms chopped off, sheathes the daggers, walks off with the sword, finish the job. And they all were dead ass guarding nothing. He walked to the tomb empty. It was already open at that. Y'all could have just walked him downstairs, showed him that, and he would have been on his merry way. Y'all could have lived. Y'all chose to die. So back to the present. We find out that Erzabet can't just keep the world in darkness forever. She has a cooldown. Alucard then mentions that she has 2 souls. See, she wasn't born a vampire. She became one after drinking the blood of an Egyptian goddess. Quotations. I don't know if she's an actual goddess or just some strong vampire with some motion, but either way, that's how Erzabet became a vampire. One of the souls is in the blood, which Erzabet drank, and the other is in the heart of the original body. Alucard has been tracking it for years and narrated down to being somewhere here in France, in Paris, and he wants Richter's help. And look at Maria in the back. You're mad at this dude for no reason. She's talking about don't talk about my mother as if she mattered to you as much as she does to me.
What? You chose to leave her there.
Are you serious? Now you losing me. So we're just gonna act like when Erzabet entered the room, the gravity didn't change? As if he didn't spam every move in his arsenal just to get flicked away? As if your mother, maybe you forgot, but hey buddy, you was there. She offered herself up to save you, by the way. Richter didn't suggest that plan, nor did he push her into Erzabet's arms. She was the one she knew what she was fucking doing, bro. She knew what she was doing. Then she says, no, you needed to escape, and you were only able to take me with you because I was unconscious.
Thank you.
Alright, bro. Next time, I'll make sure we're holding hands so we can walk to our deaths together. Make your mom sacrifice for nothing. Cause you're blaming him when technically, this is your fault. You're the one who snuck out to warn that nigga when everyone, including your mom, said fuck him. All while this is going on, Erzabet is mourning the death of Drolta. And not gonna lie, I was rocking with Drolta, but I pick sides. If you're not with Alucard, womp womp. Better luck next time. And I'm glad Moms is still standing 10 toes. She's a vampire now, but she still know what side she on. She got told to do magic as if she's some dog. Said, I bet I got you. Hold this. Right between the eyes. I'm surprised the amount of patience she has. Anyway, she forces Mom to form ice over her head, walking all the way over to the abbot just to tell him to pull up. And she wasn't going back either. You let her free, why would she come back? Alucrd has a little chat with her and pretty much saying, yeah, you're not gonna last long. You're trying to starve yourself. And this has to be the most unlucky guy ever. To be honest though, you're drunk at 2 p.m. walking through the woods. You clearly wanted something bad to happen. Afterwards, she's watching Maria run to the National Guard, and you lost your humanity, not your manners. Wipe your mouth, bro. And the funniest thing to me is if you don't glaze Erzabet enough, there's always someone in the background to correct you.
Countess.
Your magnificence.
And I'm not gonna lie, Erzabet just isn't as intimidating. She's allowing everyone to make these smart remarks.
I summoned you here because...
You didn't summon me, you asked me to come here, and I agreed. Yo, you got to stop letting people play in your face like that. Why does he even feel that safe to even say something like that? He got a few night creatures and think he can talk to you any kind of way. If I was you, those two on his right and left would have cut them down. Then make him do what I summoned him for, then let him walk away, because right now he thinks you're pussy. It seems like he was more scared of Drolta than you. But the reason she called him here is to tell him to use his dead soldiers to make more night creatures, and he flat out told her no. The whole room flabbergasted, like, you just gonna let him talk to you like that? And you know what she does about it? Nothing.
Wow.
Now, to be fair, right after he does explain that sometimes they can retain their souls, which is why he doesn't want to do it, but this is the second time within 30 seconds you let this regular man disrespect you. You should be in that nigga face right now telling him, I don't give a fuck. I'm not even on your side, but I'm sorry, you're not doing your job correctly. You're supposed to be intimidating, and you know what? I see why he's more scared of Drolta. She wouldn't have allowed that shit. And him releasing that information gave her the bright idea, oh, put Drolta through the machine and bring her back. And the crazy part is, it worked flawlessly. So now Alucard, Annette, and Richter head off to Paris, but first, they went to talk with Juiced. When they get there, we see his house up in flames, bodies all over the place, thinking he might have died. Whole time he just taking a piss in a lake. But Richter wanted him to stay with Maria and hopefully talk her out of doing something stupid. And I'm thinking we're one step ahead, but nah, Erzabet got her spies watching him. We're leading them right to the body because even they don't know where it is. But speaking on Maria, her and this dude, don't know his name, went back to her house to get some supplies, and once again, I know you're a vampire now, but why are you acting like this? Even Drolta didn't do shit like this, but bro, get out the corner. Announce yourself, say hi, something. I don't know how Maria even noticed you was there. Did she hear you blink? At least pop a smile, something. Don't just deadpan and slowly walk towards me. And when Maria asked how it was being a vampire, out of all the dialogue options she's gonna use, remember when you were small? You used to ask to listen to my heart and lay your head on my chest. Now I can hear your heartbeat from here.
Um,
And this is the point in the conversation where you choose to smile as you raise your hand and slowly walk towards me. Not gonna lie, I know you're my mom, but I'ma need 6 feet. Just until you can, speak to me without it sounding like you want to kill me, we're gonna need to create some boundaries. This dude walks in on this, and I don't blame him for swinging, because why is the room foggy? I swear we had more sunlight than this. But Maria tells him to stop, so he stops. And they walk off to wherever they walked off to. We don't see them for the rest of the episode. And real quick, they do show us that Drolta has been alive for quite some time, longer than Erzabet. She was also a normal human at first, a priestess at that. Until her spot got raided. Every last person who was there that day got murked.
Oh my god.
Except for Drolta, who comes across this trash-ass vampire. Dude had every advantage possible and still lost. And while this was happening, she was asking her goddess to show her how to be stronger. And this guy just happened to show up, so she said, oh, must be a sign, and just drank his blood. Is turning someone into a vampire just common knowledge? How is that the first thing you do? What if it didn't work? Instead of becoming a vampire, you just contracted a severe disease. Now you live in the rest of your life with thousands of itchy bumps all over your body. Sometimes it's okay to hesitate. That was a crazy gamble. Oh, and remember the National Guard that came through? Yeah, Drolta annihilated the entire platoon. Now that she can be in the sun, she just wants to be outside for no reason. And honestly, it makes perfect sense. You ever got a haircut and all of a sudden you got errands to run? Damn, I forgot my mom needs some eggs. Let me get some real quick. Oh, what was that? You said you need a pack of black teas from Target? Don't even worry about it, I got you. Anyways, now we see Maria and Moms again at the place where she first taught her how to use her magic. And she was like, remember what I told you back then? Magic can be subtle as a blade, but there's 2 sides. It can be used for survival or slaughter.
Maybe I've learned everything I need to know about survival.
Alright, I'd feel different about this statement if your mom wasn't ominously standing behind you in every frame. Especially now that your summoning circles are black, cause it's different when you're angry. Let's relax a little bit, alright? But this time, she summons a giant wolf. Was able to control it pretty easily, to be honest, but that's when from the top ropes, Juice comes down attacking mobs, and boy, she was getting cooked. 3 different times she tried to shoot fire, and each time dude just smacked her hand. You gotta find a faster way to conjure that up, cause you making speakers look sorry. Anyways, Juice says he can't use magic anymore, but how do you explain this? You just shot out 1,000 kunais out of your sleeve. You want me to believe you just carrying that around with you all day? Now, the only reason he lost is because he wasn't paying attention to his surroundings. She threw up a wall at the start and used that same wall to knock his sword out of his hands. And I guess when she didn't bite him, he was like, oh, I was wrong about you. No, you wasn't. Keep an eye out, bro. One of 2 things is gonna happen. She's either gonna get hungry to the point where she attacks one of us, or since she's a vampire, she's gonna sacrifice herself again. And if that happens, I apologize for ever doubting you. That's when they somehow hear the growling of night creatures from 30 miles away. I ain't know y'all had super hearing. And that being the National Guard was Maria's last straw. She flew off and Moms was like, you have to save her. Save her from what?
From what she's about to do.
Okay, spit it out.
She's gonna kill her father. No, what?
So she gets to the church, confronts her father. He tries to say sorry about what happened to Mom, but nah. Maria shut that down immediately. You're not sorry. You was gonna let Erzabet do it to me. Though to begin with, you thought she was only going to kill me. And that was alright too. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought she was gonna somehow get bailed out of this or was gonna back down willingly, but nah. She summoned a dragon and burned him alive. Just like that. Juice is sitting in the background like, damn, now how am I gonna explain this to your mother? Not gonna lie, I feel kinda bad. Not exactly because that abbot died, but because Maria had to be the one to do it. Yeah, he was a bad person, but at the end of the day, that's still her father. Even if she did just find that out. It would be one thing if she didn't care about him at all, but she tried to save him earlier. Clearly, she wanted him to be in her life. Now, I have an honest question for y'all. Do you think that Abbott was genuinely a bad person. Do I agree with anything he's done? Fuck no. If I was in his shoes, the show wouldn't last for more than 2 episodes. There's no universe where I'm giving up my loved ones to some vampires, nor am I summoning any night creatures. As a child of God, I know he wouldn't want me to even entertain the thought of doing that. But if the Abbot's intentions were truly what he claimed they were, protecting the kingdom of God, would you put him in the same category as Erzabet and Drolta? At what point does good intention stop mattering? But after his death, this black substance rises off the walls, forms this figure, laughs, and then drags him down, and all the night creatures he's made got like an Amber Alert of his passing. So Maria sends her summons back, but that dragon kinda likes it here. He's not trying to go back. And the way they set this scene up, either someone was gonna die or Juice was gonna get his powers back, even if it was for a split second. The dragon got hit with one icicle and ran away immediately. That sorry ass dragon. Nigga forgot he's a 30-ton reptile with wings, bro. If you don't fly through the ceiling, oh, trash ass. That's when Moms pulls up, told Juice to take her somewhere safe, and as they're leaving, she goes to look at the ashes and she smiles. Wow. I don't know if I should be worried about this or... So back to the other group, and Annette was like, is Paris always like this? I can feel the tension. No, nah, I don't know if that's it. You just happen to be walking with a man with literal white skin that's matching his hair, also wearing all black. You know, that's a big contrast. It's going to be kind of hard not to get stared at. And throughout these last few episodes, Annette has been trying to dig deeper into an ancestral plane to gain more power. And as they make their way to this museum, which is where the body should be, she is seeing this three-headed thing appear with every step she takes. So she finally speaks to them, asking to show her, leading her to the body, which, to be honest, we probably could have found that ourselves. It was just sitting in a box, not even in the corner. Nobody was trying to hide it. It was in the middle of the room. Now, we already knew they were getting followed, so Drolta being here isn't a surprise. My question is, why did they entertain this? Unless after the battle, Alucard says there's something specific you need to get rid of the corpse, because a nigga like me is stabbing whatever that orange flame eluding off the body is. Clearly it's something important. A few stabs, a few fire spells, a couple boulders falling on top of it. I think that would get the job done. I ain't come all this way for nothing. And remember when Richter had a whole sword before? Mans really finds a way to punch anything. Alucard and Drolta though, he ducks a sidekick, but she stomps down. Ate the stab, grabs his sword, then punches him to the other side of the room. Yo, Alucard, I'm gonna need you to lock in, bro. What's going on? So he evades her barrage. Where did he go? Behind you. I don't even know what happened here. I feel like she didn't duck nearly far enough to dodge that attack. You should be trying to slice her in half, full range of motion. Why are you stopping right there? So she flies off into the darkness. Alucard assists in murking the night creatures. That's when Drolta swoops back in, takes the body, and gets away with ease. But what about Alucard? Yeah, he chased her, but got dealt with twice. While he was taking a swim, Annette was tweaking out because the spirits are not going away, and she has no clue on what they want. So with the body in the hands of the enemy, all they can do right now is prepare for what's to come. Richter and Annette go around the city taking down nests of vampires, while Alucard goes to speak with the National Convention. And Aurochs is actually the most interesting character in the show to me. We still don't know if he has some hidden motive, but throughout the series, he's always been on the human side, I guess. He was against Erzabet from the very beginning. I think he just values freedom, and to be honest, even though he's a vampire, he doesn't really act like it. He acts a lot like Alucard. He doesn't love humans or vampires more than the other. He values who they are as a person rather than what race they happen to be. Message. And he tells bro that he's leaving, going back home. He knows a losing battle when he sees one. Also knowing that Erzabet is going to see this as a betrayal and be on his ass for the rest of eternity. But hey, the world's big enough to hide for a few centuries. And like I said earlier, I do feel bad for Maria. I knew murking her father was going to break her down. Now she's talking about how it feels good to have power over life and death. And I'm glad Juice is here, because what she needs to hear right now is the wise words of an old man. The world can be a dark place, full of horror. But if you surrender to the darkness, what's the point of living? None of us counts for much. We'll all be forgotten eventually. But there's something miraculous about us being here at all. Facts. To see this world, breathe its air, smell the forest at night. There is a point in living.
And maybe there's even more point in living forever.
What? See, that junk really messed her up. Now she's asking for her mother to turn her into a vampire so they can be together forever. That would have made mom's entire sacrifice be for nothing. Juice was ready to box it out if needs be, and what is that? You're not even spawning creatures no more. You are too far gone. The dragon made sense, but this, an evil tree trunk? I'm glad mom told her to calm down. She tells her that in order to find herself again, it can't be with her. So she runs away. In the wind, I tell you, she is gone. And it's nice to see that she was able to put aside the bad parts of life. Felt as if she had nothing anymore, but Juice reminds her that they may not share the same last name, but they're still family. She was able to remember why life is worth living, tapped back into the good side of her powers. Then we cut to Richter and Annette, and she finally pieced together what the spirits wanted from her. We know that Erzabet essentially has two souls, one in the original body and the one being inside her. Annette tells us that everyone has a part of them that is already inside the spirit world, which is why she can speak to Cecile in there despite her still being alive. That's how she pieced it together. The same could be true for Erzabet, or really, the Egyptian goddess that Erzabet is trying to become. So her job now is to venture through the spirit world and find that soul. I don't know why they didn't just tell her that from the beginning. Why does everything have to be a riddle? Y'all could have said this earlier and saved so much time. We have no business to be doing field tests in a situation like this. What skill did she gain? Please tell me. How many occasions will she be fighting a vampire goddess with multiple souls? But speaking of that, I've truly been trying to accept Erzabet as the main villain, but I'm sorry, I just can't. I would much rather have them somehow write it that Drolta gets the main power or some shit, cause if Drolta says she's gonna do something, I believe her. She's gonna find a way by any means to get it done. Erzabet says she's gonna do something. She's gonna look to Drolta for approval. And she was like, this is boring. I wish to be glazed.
What?
Begging for glaze now, bro? Are we serious? Glaze has to come naturally. You can't just go out looking for glaze. That defeats the whole purpose of glaze to begin with. Yo, you just a big ass, old ass baby. Facts. Now back to Alucard. Remember, he was heading over to speak with the National Convention when these vampires were getting ready to attack him.
When I came to Paris, vermin like you knew who I was. Now, of course, you think you've found a purpose, a goddess. But she's nothing but a vulgar parvenu with a taste for young flesh.
Got them riled up. First guy ran chest first into the sword. Really? And another vampire using a gun. There's no way y'all are that ass. Ends up accidentally removing his homeboy's head off his shoulders. Here, inspect this for me real quick. 3 more drop down and genuinely get off-screened. The leader of this little band steps up, and for a second I was like, Alucard, there is no way you're getting nervous. Why is there a droplet on your face? But I came to the conclusion that maybe he felt bad with how dirty he's about to do this nigga. It cuts to him walking in the middle of the National Convention, threw the head on the table, told them boys to strap up, and they got to it immediately. Had crates of guns, swords, handing them all out to civilians. This is when Annette tells Alucard about her plan of finding the third soul. She was warned that she must not get lost in the spirit world, because if you do, you're not waking back up. So she ventures off, and after all this time was finally able to see her mother again. And she's stronger than me, not a single teardrop in those eyes. I'd be in there bawling. I can act tough all day long, but I'd fold right here. But they tell her to go meet her god, who not only created a shield covered with his blessing, but also opened the portal that leads into the Egyptian goddess's domain, whose name is Sekhmet, by the way. Also, apparently, she is the goddess of healing as well. What? Yeah, I'm just as surprised as you. Anyways, she crosses the sea, gets to the temple, sees Sekhmet crying because the scales are out of balance. So she tells her, yo, you remember Drolta? Yeah, so she desecrated your tomb, desecrated your mummy, and now is glazing this Russian lady for some reason. I don't know why she's doing that. Also, they're planning on using your power to bring an eternal eclipse, so how do you feel about that? And her immediate reaction to that was to try and murk Annette. Like, bro, why are you mad at her? She came all this way to inform you. Then this creature walks in, and I guess her seeing that Annette was capable of fighting changed her mind.
My soul will need a worthy vessel.
While all this was going on, Drolta delivered the body to Erzabet, who grabs the heart, eats it, and turns into a literal monster. guess. Anyways, Annette is no longer Annette. Sekhmet took over her body and yeah, she surpassed me. I can't compete with that. Done gave her max prestige locks. So while Sekhmet controls her body, Annette is still in the spirit world fighting whatever that thing is. Richter was talking to Alucard and was like, damn, what if I can't bring her back?
Huh?
I was expecting some words of encouragement, but he deadass just looked at him. It's like he tried to think of something to say but gave up. Anyways, that boy walked straight to the front lines, commanding his troops, and on the inside, Lightskin finally takes his stand alongside the allies he made. One thing I will give Erzabet though is that she isn't one of those villains that stand back and allow her troops to get wiped out. She in the front for a reason. She's here to box. The two in the front are now in pieces. Did the same to the next two, but this man got it the worst. Got his entire dome snatched and forced into the concrete. I think I'd rather get sliced into pieces. And I kid you not, Alucard, not even yelling, just speaking in a higher octave.
Retreat! Retreat to the back streets!
Sounds like it hurts. Sound like he need a glass of water. If the action he's doing can't be done nonchalantly, I promise he's not gonna do it right. Cause look, there isn't a single reason for him to not hold his sword here. He just wanted to catch it in midair. And y'all know Drolta was out there searching for Alucard. Easy deflect. Out my face. But oh, the spin kick connects. Thought you got the stab off, but that's the oldest trick in the book. That was his clone, shout out Itachi. And I told you, this nigga will always search for a way to stunt on someone. He returns back in slow motion. Spin move, speed butts. But she just smiles. Turns out the daggers can shoot many Getsuga Tenchos. All of it gets dodged, but that flying sword, man, that thing might be broken. I don't think I've seen that sword ever miss. And I will forever hate that they made my guy look like he needed saving. I fuck with you all, Rocks. You know, I'm glad you're back and all. But next time, wait for him to get up. It's a bad look. But a few minutes later, the soldier guy does get hit. Allrock somehow just knew to turn his head at that exact moment, and instead of finishing off Drolta, he ran to be by his side. Alright, you could have killed her real quick though, but you know. Meanwhile, Richter and Sekhmet made it to Erzabet, and I don't know exactly what she is doing, but hey, keep it up, it's doing something. That's when Maria, Juiced, and Soldier Guy joins the battle, and I'm glad no time was wasted. Maria sends out her army of birds, and I guess now she has a good dragon. And look at the Belmont duo. I'm not gonna lie, Juiced is swaggier than Richter, by the way. Just had to put that out there. But they are jumping her with straight lightning attacks. Maria said, don't have fun without me. All three of them blasting her with fire. But once I seen her do this, I said, oh, well, that can't be good. Blocks the backhand with his ice, barely dodges the follow-up, same for the next. That ice is really saving his arms right now. My guy somehow dodges it in midair. Hold this. But he ain't done no. Boost down to the ground. Here, let me show you this auto combo. Had her in a stun lock.
This is my chance.
No, it ain't. Juice came in with the assist. Now show her how the Belmonts get down, nephew. Maria once again said, stop leaving me out. Got her entire torso bit. Alley-ooped her shit into this 10-ton icicle. But obviously, there's still, 20 minutes left in the episode. She wasn't gonna lose right here. Sekhmet overheated or something, just over their face planted on the ground. Richter dead had to cover her in ice. They tried the fire again, but I guess she upgraded to Broly, just walking through that shit. Ran up, socked the fuck out of that dragon's snout, grabbed his tail, slams it, immediately goes after Sekhmet.
You got this, Richter, go!
Oh shit!
My gosh. Sekhmet finally joins the fight again, and Richter is deadass insane. I swear I seen Goku do the same thing. Uppercut, kick, nuggets to the ribcage. Went to the other side, gotta keep it balanced. Kicks the jaw up, got her admiring the stars. Finished it with the elbow, dug into the sternum, fireball. Passed her to the dragon, deadass got her chest trampled on. And no way I got this dragon doing hand-to-hand combat. This gotta be the most advanced dragon type ever. It was putting in work too until Erzabet forced his mouth shut, using pure arm strength, tossed it by his neck across the field. Hopped on his head, got one solid hit in, and you telling me Maria is controlling his actions? There's no way. How can you possibly be versed in dragon combat? Good enough to where Erzabet is struggling, and for a second, I thought she was gonna turn the tables, cause not gonna lie, that junk was clean. Though, to be fair, they were jumping her crazy for the last 18 minutes. Richter sliced the back of her knees, Juice froze her in place, and hit a double Belmont lariat, but all that did was heat her up. Hit Juice with a stage transition, grabbed Richter by his leg, slammed him one time for some reason. I would have been in that shit like the Hulk. would have gave you a migraine that lasted for weeks. And this is genuinely some of the craziest jumping I've seen. Erzabet dead has no lines this entire episode. When the voice actor read the script, it had to have said scream in pain for 30 minutes in 10 different ways. The dragon flew her to the sky with Richter running up his back. Do you know the balance needed for this? Wrapped one arm in the whip while the other one gets teared off. Mid-air, boost himself, lands the kick, grabs the arm again, flips over her and connects another Belmont lariat. And I didn't even know they can do this. They combine their flames into one. This is for real a shonen battle. But at the very last second, she got an opening to shoot that segment, causing Richard to protect her and unleashing some AoE attack. Starts walking him down, just to fall down to her knees. Then she proceeded to get walked down and started crying like a little ass baby. Yo, Erzabet is so buns. And you know we almost won, but Alucrd couldn't finish his one job. Drolta swooped in and took her away. Yo, not gonna lie, Alucard, where are you at? You shouldn't have let that nigga tag himself in. But I'm glad they did do exactly what I wanted them to do. Made Drolta the final boss. She started draining Erzabet of all her power. Thank you, bro. She spent this whole episode getting her ass beat. I was sitting here waiting to see a power-up something. So now Drolta is calling herself the new goddess. Thank you for not giving her some ugly transformation. I hate when they do that. Alucard finally gets into the mix. Eyes turn red, gains some of his dad's abilities. Though she redirects it towards Richter when he volleyball hits it to the sky. They both walk up, look at the goat. That's when Richter creates these shurikens, got a piece of that shoulder. Alucard then charges directly into her, blitzes behind, slicing her up. Knocked to the ground. Block that shit. I don't know what you smiling about.
On the roof!
Imprinted your face with his boot. Still has you in his hold. Slingshots himself back in. She is dead ass tweaking right now. And when she went for the final blow, guess what? Got hit with another Naruto special. You gotta watch out for them shurikens. Never know what they might do. Got her whole hand severed. And for a second there, I thought this was about to be another 30 minutes of straight jumping. But she stops them in their tracks. Grew her hand right in their face, and I call cap. No way Alucard got smacked and Richter didn't. That's why I prefer shows to not add old characters, because they will always have to nerf them for plot. They gotta make the new MC look good. Even though I rock with Richter, but you know, I'm biased. I guess she took a lunch break, came back stronger, started combining her souls, and I can't be mad at Richter for not wanting this to happen. There's a good chance Annette's body might explode after this, even though it's for the greater good. At the end of the day, that's his girl. No man wants to watch his girl get exploded. Now, this entire time, we know the real Annette has been fighting this creature in the spirit world. After hearing Richter's voice, gave her a power boost and pretty much cooked it with 3 hits. And she casually just floats by the 3 souls a segment. No exchange of words, no thank you, no good work, no nothing, not even a side eye. But she was able to travel back to the real world. Gave her mom a quick little hug on the way back, and yeah, she beat the odds. Her body ain't explode, she's still in one piece. But Drolta is still here, and not gonna lie, I almost turned this shit off after seeing this. Alucard should not be getting worked by anybody. And didn't her god powers just get took? Is she not back to being regular Drolta? Y'all only did this cause you wanna give this. Yo, you don't gotta keep putting Alucard down. If anything, this just makes me not like Richter even more because you keep hoeing the real nigga. But I'd be lying if I said this wasn't hard though. They went palm to palm and we see her hands are cracking. Hit her with a headbutt, that junk cracking too. She runs in. This is where the rest of the budget went to here. Peep the impact frame. I paused on this by accident the first time. This is tough. What flavor is that? Barbecue? And look at this cool ass nigga. Where was this the entire show? And Alucrd is back to finish what he should have finished 10 minutes ago. Alucard then gives Richter his sword, creates the Sword of Hope. He got that straight from Trunks, and my goodness, that 2 seconds of animation costed 300,000 alone. But with that, he puts an end to Drolta, as well as the building behind her. Whoever apartment that was, I'm so sorry. But the hardest part is what he says to Alucrd.
I will kill you, Alucrd. One day. But not today.
Said the same thing he said to him as a kid. Came full circle. Kinda. He's still up on the scoreboard. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Maria and Richter made up. She also decides to stay in Paris to continue fighting here. Juiced and Alucard also gonna be staying here with her. Annette and Lightskin head off back to their home to continue the war that's going on over there. Richter tags along with them for obvious reasons. And instead of letting Soldier Guy die, Aurochs turns him into a vampire with no consent, by the way. What? There wasn't a single word that escaped from his mouth that hinted at him wanting to become a vampire. And I don't know what happened right here. Was that a deadly bite or a freaky bite? I don't know. That black figure we seen take the abbot got his hands on Mom's. I don't know who or what that is, but it got Mom smiling as she's watching people get executed. She is not alright in the head. And that's that. My final thoughts. Nocturne is a good show. The people who are saying it's bad, I don't get how I came to that conclusion. It's not as good as the original though, I will say that. This is like a 7 out of 10. The original is like a 9.8 out of 10. That shit was beautiful. The main letdown in this is the villain. Erzabet is pure cheeks. Drolta was carrying. The fight scenes though, Nocturne went crazy on that. I think Nocturne is a little more flashy while the original was a little more technical. I guess in that regard it just comes down to what you prefer more. But yeah, this vid is long enough. I'll see y'all in 2 months.